Hi, we're the Chariots, and our first song is Chariot by Gavin DeGraw.
Oh, chariot, your golden ways are walking down in space. Oh, chariot, sing out loud to guide me. Give me your
Black horse and a cherry tree. Two, three, four. And I cut the cord and I shouldn't have done it 'cause you won't forgive me after all these years. So I took it to a place in the middle of nowhere with a big black horse and a cherry tree. But it won't come back 'cause it's so happy, and now I got a hole for the world to see, yeah. And I said no, 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 said no, no, you're not the one for me. No, 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 said no, no, you're not the one for me. And I said no, 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 you're not the one for me. No, 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 you're not the one for me. Big black horse and a cherry tree. I can't quite get there. My heart's mistaken me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big black horse and a cherry tree. I can't quite get there 'cause my heart's mistaken me. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show.
Hello, hello, and welcome to our 8th annual production of Vagina Monologues at UNCG. So thank you so much for being here. Introduce myself. My name is Brianna Welsh, and I am a coordinator for Residence Life in our Housing and Residence Life Department here at UNCG.
And my name is Kelly Thomas. I'm also a coordinator for Residence Life here in Austin Housing and Residence Life.
So we are part of your producer team. Of course, this night would not be possible without the moral and financial support of our sponsors. So we want to definitely thank the Residence Hall Association, Elliott University Center, Housing and Residence Life, and then our Social and Justice, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee within Housing and Residence Life. So thank you all so much.
So no matter why you're here tonight with us or who you're here to support, you're helping us raise money for the Claire House that's located here in Greensboro, a domestic shelter for domestically abused women and their children. So the proceeds of anything we sell tonight, shirts, goodies, tumblers, everything goes directly to them. So we actually don't keep anything from the show. So thank you so much for your monetary funds tonight.
So before we get started, there's just a couple of things we would like all of you to know. Some of the scenes and monologues you're about to experience can be intense as well as serious. The stories that you hear are true and reflect actual experiences of women who are brave enough to share. If you experience a trigger during the show, know that there are staff members available in the back to help you process. Many of you know that UNCG has a phenomenal counseling center with professionals who are able to help individuals process through anything at any time you may need them. UNCG is also proud to have the Campus Violence Response Center located on the ground floor of the counseling center as well. Their mission is to create a safe, single point of access for any UNCG community member impacted by sexual assault, intimate partner violence, stalking, sexual or gender-based harassment, and all other forms of campus violence.
And then also tonight, we do have a lot of monologues that can be very serious, but also humorous and witty. So please laugh along with us, as well as the cast, because they have been practicing since September. So they are, I may be biased, but they are fantastic and ready to perform for you all tonight.
So are y'all ready to hear about some vaginas?
Yeah! Without further ado, we present to you the 8th annual Vagina Monologue.
about vaginas.
We were worried what we think about vaginas, and even more worried that we don't think about them. We were worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a community, a culture of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy surrounding them, like the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody ever reports back from there.
In the first place, it's not even that easy to find your vagina. Women go weeks, months, even years without looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed. She said she didn't have the time. She was too busy. Looking at your vagina, she said, was a full day's work. You gotta get down there, on your back, in front of a mirror that's standing on its own, full length if preferred. You gotta get the perfect position, the perfect lighting.
Working girl!
You get all twisted up. You're arcing your head up, pilling your back. You're exhausted by then. She said she didn't have the time. She was too busy.
So, there were vagina interviews, which became Vagina Monologues. Over 200 women were interviewed. Older women, young women, married women, lesbians, single women, college professors, actors, corporate professionals, sex workers, Black women, Asian American women, Latina women, Native American women, Caucasian women, Jewish women. Okay. At first, women were reluctant to talk. They were a little bit shy. But once they got going, you couldn't stop them. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas. They get very excited, mainly because no one's ever asked them before.
Let's just start with the word vagina. It sounds like an infection at best. Maybe a medical instrument? Hurry, nurse, bring me the vagina. Vagina? Vagina. It doesn't matter how many times you say it, it never sounds like a word you want to say. It's a totally ridiculous, completely unsexy word. If you use it during sex, trying to be politically correct, darling, could you stroke my vagina? You kill the act right there.
We were worried about vaginas, what we call them and don't call them.
In Great Neck, they call it a pussycat. A woman there said that her mother used to tell her, don't wear panties underneath your pajamas, dear. You need to air out your pussycat.
In Westchester, they call it a pookie.
In New Jersey, a twat.
There's powder box, a poochie, a poopy, a pee-pee, a poopaloo, a poonani, and I know y'all use that one. A pal, and a peach.
Toady, Dee-dee, Nishi, Dignity, Monkey Box,
Gucci Snorcher, Hooter, LaBay.
Gladys Siegelman.
VA, Wee Wee, Horse Spot, Nappy, Dugout.
Mongo, Mookie, a pajama, Fanny Boo, Mushmallow,
A ghoulie, possible, tamale, totita, Connie.
A Mimi in Miami.
a Swedish in Philadelphia.
And a schmende in the Bronx. We're worried about vaginas. You cannot love a vagina unless you love hair.
Yeah!
Many people do not love hair. In fact, my first and only husband hated hair. He said it was cluttered and dirty. He made me shave my vagina.
It was puffy and exposed, and it looked like a little girl's. This excited him. When he made love to me, it felt the way a beard must feel. It felt good to rub, but painful, like scratching a mosquito bite. It felt like it was on fire. There were these screaming red bumps. I refused to shave it again. Then, my husband had an affair. When we went to marital therapy, he said he screwed around because I wouldn't please him sexually. I wouldn't shave my vagina. The marital therapist had a German accent and gasped between sentences to show her empathy. She asked me why I did not want to please my husband. I told her I thought it was weird. I mean, I felt little when the hair was gone down there. I couldn't resist talking in a baby voice, and it was so irritated that even calamine lotion wouldn't help it. She said, marriage was un compromise. I asked her if I shaved my vagina, would my husband stop screwing around? I asked her if she even had many cases like this before. She told me questions diluted the process, that I needed to jump in. She was sure it was a good beginning. So that night, he got to shave my vagina. It was like a therapy bonus prize. He clipped it a few times, and there was some blood in the bathtub, but he didn't even notice it because he was so happy shaving me. And later, when he was pressing against me, I felt his spiky sharpness sticking into me, my naked, puffy vagina. There was no protection. There was no fluff. And then I realized the hair is there for a reason. It's the leaf around the flower. It's the lawn around the house. In order to love a vagina, you have to love hair. You can't just pick and choose the parts that you want. And besides, my husband never stopped screwing around.
All of the women were asked the following questions.
If your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Glasses, a beret, a leather jacket, silk stockings, mink, a pink boa.
A male tuxedo. Jeans, something form-fitting.
Emeralds, an evening gown, sequins,
Armani only.
a tutu, see-through black underwear, a top and a ball gown. Something machine washable.
A costume eye mask, purple velvet pajamas, angora, ooh, a red bow.
Ermine and pearls. A leopard hat, a silk kimono, sweatpants, a tattoo. An electrical shock device to keep unwanted strangers away.
High heels, lace, and combat boots. Purple feathers, twigs, and shells. Cotton.
A uniform, a bikini, a slicker. If your vagina could talk, what would it say? 2 words.
Slow down.
Is that you? Feed me. I want yum yum. Oh yeah.
Oh, start again. No, over there, lick me. Stay home.
Great choice. Think again. Or please, embrace me. Let's play. Don't stop. More, more. Remember me?
Come inside. Not yet. Whoa, Mama, yes, yes. Rock me.
Enter at your own risk.
Oh, God, thank God I'm here. Let's go, let's go. Find me.
Thank you. Bonjour.
2
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. No, it's a cellar down there. It's very damp, clammy. You don't want to go down there. Trust me, you get sick. Suffocating, very nauseating. The smell of the clamminess and the mildew and everything, woo, smells unbearable. Gets in your clothes. No, there was no accident down there. It didn't blow up or catch on fire or anything. It wasn't so dramatic. Well, I mean, never mind. No, never mind. I can't talk to you about this. What's a smart girl like you going around talking to old ladies about that down there for? We didn't do this kind of a thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus. Okay. There was this boy, Andy Lefkoff. He was cute. Well, I thought so. And tall, like me, and I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. I can't tell you this. I can't do this. Talk about down there. You know it's there like the cellar. There's rumbles down there sometimes. You can hear the pipes and things get caught there. Little animals and things. And it gets wet. And sometimes people have to come and plug up the leaks. Otherwise, the doors stay closed. You forget about it. It's a part of the house. You just don't see it or think about it. I mean, otherwise, the bedroom would be in the basement. Andy Lefkoff, right. Andy was very good looking. He was a catch. That's what we called it in my day. We were in his car, a brand new Chevy Bel-Air. I remember thinking that my legs were too long for the seats. I have long legs. They were smushed up against the dashboard. I was looking at my big kneecaps when he just kissed me and then surprisingly take me by control like they do in the movies kind of way. And, well, I got excited. So excited. There was a flood down there. It was like this force of passion, this river of life just flooded right out of me, right through my panties, right onto the car seat of his new white Chevy Bel-Air. It wasn't pee. It was smelly. Well, frankly, I didn't smell anything at all. But Andy said, that it smelled like sour milk, and that it was staining his car seat, and that I was a weird, stinky girl. I tried to explain to him that his kiss had caught me off guard, that I wasn't normally like this. I tried to wipe the flood out with my dress. It was a new yellow primrose dress, and it looked so ugly with the flood on it. Andy drove me home without saying another word, and when I got out and closed his car door, I closed the whole store, locked it, never opened for business again. I dated some after that, but the idea of flooding made me too nervous. I never even got close again. I used to have these dreams, crazy dreams. Oh, they are dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds. I don't know why. He never did much for me in my life, but in my dreams, it was always Burt and I, Burt and I, Burt and I. Well, it was always the same general dream. We'd be out at some restaurant like the kind you see in Atlantic City, all big with the chandeliers and stuff with thousands of waiters with a vest. Burt would give me this orchid corsage. I'd pin it on my blazer. We'd laugh. We were always laughing, Burt and I. We'd eat shrimp cocktail, huge shrimp, fabulous shrimp. We'd laugh more. We were very happy together. And then he'd look me into my eyes and pull me to him in the middle of the restaurant. And just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly from under the table. I don't know what those pigeons were doing there. And then the flood would come from straight down there. There would be fish inside it, boats inside. The whole restaurant was filled with my blood. And there would be Bert standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I'd done it again. Horrified as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the like, swim right past us. I don't have those dreams anymore. Not since they took about everything connected with down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. The doctor thought he was being funny when he said, if you don't use it, you lose it. But really, I found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. I mean, what does it do? It's highly overrated anyway, right? I do other things. I love the dog shows. I sell antiques. So, you asked me what it would wear? What do you mean what it would wear? It would wear a huge sign, closed due to flooding. You asked me what it would say? I told you, it doesn't do that kind of thing. It's not like a person who speaks. It's a place you don't go. It's underneath. It's down there. You happy? You got it out of me? You got an old lady to talk about her down there? You feel better now? Actually, you're the first person I ever told this to, and I feel a little better.
My vagina is a shell, a round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip. The center, acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but sturdy. I did not always know this. I learned this in the Vagina Workshop. I learned this from the woman who runs the Vagina Workshop, a woman who believes in vagina. Yeah, who really sees vaginas. A woman who helps other people see their own vaginas by seeing other people's vaginas.
In the first session, the woman who ran the Vagina Workshop asked us to draw a picture of our own beautiful, unique, fabulous vaginas. That's what she called it. She wanted to see what we thought our own beautiful, unique, fabulous vaginas looked like. There was one woman who was pregnant who drew a big red mouth, screaming with coins spilling out of it. One woman who was very skinny drew a serving platter with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot, with little squiggly lines around it. The black dot was equal to a black hole in space, and the squiggly lines were just people, things, or just your basic atoms that got lost there. I saw my vagina as kind of an anatomical vacuum, sucking up random particles from the surrounding environment. I didn't see my vagina in practical or biological terms. I did not see my vagina as something attached to me.
In the workshop, we were asked to look at our vaginas with hand mirrors, and then, after careful examination, we were to verbally report to the group what we saw. I must tell you that up until this point, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I had never really seen the thing. It never occurred to me to look at it. My vagina, for me, existed on some abstract plane. It seemed so reductive and awkward looking at it. Like we were in the workshop on our shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me of how early astronomers felt with their primitive telescopes. So I found it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. Like the first time you see a fish cut open and you discover this bloody, complex world inside, right under the skin. so raw, so red, so fresh. And the thing that surprised me the most, all the layers, just layers, inside layers, and opening up into more layers. My vagina amazed me. I couldn't speak when it came my turn in the workshop. I was speechless. I had awakened to what the woman who ran the workshop called vaginal wonder. I just wanted to lay there on my mat with my legs spread, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon. Ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. It was funny, very funny. It made me laugh. It could play hide and seek, open and close.
Then the woman who ran the workshop asked how many women had had orgasms. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I didn't, but I've had orgasms. I had had accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They happened in my dreams, and I would awake in splendor. They happened a lot in the water, mostly in the bath. One's in Cape Cod. They happened on horses, on bicycles, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. I didn't raise my hand even though I had had orgasms because I didn't know how to make one happen. They were a mystical, magical thing, and it felt wrong getting involved. It felt contrite, manipulative, felt Hollywood. I was afraid that the surprise would be gone and the mystery. Well, the problem was, the surprise had been gone for 2 years. The magical accidental orgasm had been gone for a very long time, and I was frantic. That's why I was at the Vagina workshop. And then the moment had arrived that I both dreaded and longed for. The woman who ran the workshop asked us to take out our hand mirrors and to locate our clitoris. So there we were, a group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, trying to locate our clitoris, our spot, our locus, our reason. And I don't know why, but I started to cry. Maybe it was embarrassment. Maybe it was the fact that I had to give up the fantasy, the life-altering fantasy that someone or something was going to do this for me. That someone was going to come into my life, to give me direction, to give me orgasms. And I felt the panic coming. The realization and the terror that I had avoided trying to find my clitoris because I was terrified that I did not have one. That I was one of those unconstitutionally incapables. That I was frigid, dried up, apricot tasting, bitter. Oh my God. All I could think about was the time that I was 10 and I had lost my gold ring with the emeralds in the lake. And how I kept diving over and over to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over stones and fish and bottle caps and slimy stuff, but never my ring. I knew I'd be punished.
The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling, sweating, and heavy breathing. She came over. "It's gone! It's gone," I said. "I've lost my clitoris. I shouldn't have worn it swimming." The woman who ran the workshop laughed. She calmly stroked my forehead. She told me my clitoris wasn't something I could lose. It was me, she said, the essence of me. It was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it, she said. I had to be it.
Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I closed my eyes and I laid back down. I put the mirror away. And I watched myself floating above myself. And I watched as I slowly began to approach myself, re-enter. And I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. It was very quiet, this re-entry. Quiet and gentle. I bounced and landed and bounced. And I came into my own muscles, and blood and cells, and I slid into my vagina, and it was suddenly easy. And it fit. I was warm and pulsing and young and ready and alive. And without looking, without opening my eyes, I was suddenly able to put my finger on what had become me. And there was a little quivering at first, which encouraged me to stay. And then the quivering became a quake, an eruption. The layers dividing and subdividing, opening onto an ancient horizon of light and silence, and then opening onto a plane of music and color and innocence and longing. And I felt a connection, a calling connection, as I lay there thrashing about on my little blue mat.
My vagina is a shell, a tulip, and a destiny.
I am arriving as I'm beginning to leave.
My vagina.
My vagina. Me.
The clitoris is pure and perfect. It is the only organ in the entire body designed purely for pleasure. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves. 8,000 nerve fibers, to be precise. That's a higher concentration of nerve fibers than found anywhere else in the male or female body.
What else, sis?
Including the fingertips, lips, and tongue. And it's twice.
What?
Twice.
What you say?
Twice the number found in the penis.
At 5 years old, I was putting my baby sister's diapers on. I saw her vagina. I wanted one. I wanted one. I thought it would grow.
I thought I would open. I ached to belong. I ached to smell, like my mother. Her sweet aroma lived in my hair, in my hands, my skin. I ached to be pretty. Pretty.
I wondered why I was missing my bathing suit top at the beach. Why I wasn't dressed like the other girls. I ached to be completed. I ached to belong, to twirl the baton.
They assigned me a sex the day I was born. It's as random as being adopted or being assigned a hotel room on the 30th floor. It has nothing to do with who you are or your fear of heights. But in spite of the apparatus I was forced to carry around, I always knew I was a girl. They beat me for it. They beat me for crying. They pummeled me for wanting.
To touch.
To pet.
To hug.
To help. To hold their hands.
For trying to fly in church like Sister Betrayal.
For doing cartwheels.
Crocheting socks.
For carrying purses to kindergarten.
They kicked the shit out of me every day on my way to school.
In the park, they smashed my magic marker painted nails.
They punched my lipstick mouth. They beat the girl out of my boy.
Or they tried.
So,
I went underground. I stopped playing the flute.
Be a man. Stand up for yourself. Go punch your bag.
I grew a full beard. It was good I was big.
I joined the Marines. Suck it up and drive on.
I became duller.
Jaded.
Sometimes cruel.
Butch it.
Butch it.
Butch it up.
Always clenched. Inaccurate. Incomplete.
I ran away from home.
From school,
From boot camp.
Ran to Miami.
Greenwich Village.
Aleutian Islands.
New Orleans.
I found gay people.
Wilderness lesbians.
Got my first hormone shot. Got permission to be myself. To transition. To travel. To immigrate. 350 hours of hot needles. I would count the male particles as they died. 16 man hairs gone.
I lift, the feminine is in your face. I lift my eyebrows more. I'm curious. I ask questions.
And my voice. Practice, practice. It's all about resonance. Sing song, sing song. Men are monotone and flat. Southern accents are really excellent. Jewish accents help a lot. Hello, my friend.
And my vagina is so much friendlier. I cherish it. It brings me joy.
The orgasms come in waves. Before they were jerky.
I'm your girl next door.
My lieutenant colonel father ended up paying for it. My vagina.
My mother was worried what people would think of her, that she made this happen. Until I came to church, and everyone said, "You have a beautiful daughter."
I got to be soft. I'm allowed to listen. I'm allowed to touch. I'm able to receive.
To be in the present tense, people are so much nicer to me now.
I can wake up in the morning and put my hair in a ponytail.
A wrong was righted.
I am right with God.
It's like when you're trying to sleep and there's a loud car alarm. When I got my vagina, it was like someone finally turned it off.
I live now in the female zone. But you know how people feel about immigrants. They don't like it when you come from someplace else. They don't like it when you mix. They killed my boyfriend. They beat him insanely as he slept with a baseball bat. They beat this girl out of his head. They didn't want him dating a foreigner even though she was pretty and she listened and was kind. They didn't want him falling in love with ambiguity. They were scared he'd get lost. They were that terrified of love.
This is the story of how I came to love my vagina.
Yeah!
Now, it's kind of embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Anya playing. Me loving my woman self. Look, I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite.
Yeah!
I know all of it. Like if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, spending our days lying on our backs, thigh expanding. Well, we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it and from that moment on wished I hadn't. sin. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. Then, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Cozy futons with light cotton comforters, little velvet settees, or leopard rugs, or pretty things, silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, or place settings. I became so accustomed to this, I lost all memory of having a vagina. When a man was inside me, I imagined him inside a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Now, Bob was the most ordinary man I have ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. He did not like spicy foods or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent time in the shade. He did not share his inner feelings. He did not have any problems or issues, and was not even an alcoholic. He was not really funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I mean, I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up the change that I dropped on the deli floor. And he handed me back my quarters and pennies. And his hand accidentally touched mine. Something happened. I went to bed with him. That is when the miracle occurred. It turns out Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He had to see them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. I'm right here. I said, right here. Well, no, I have to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. Turned on the light. Okay, I'm ready to see you. Right here, Bob. Right here. Then he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I have to see what you look like. No need. Just do it. But I need to see you. You've seen a red leather couch before. Bob continued. He would not stop. I wanted to throw up and die. This is awfully intimate. Can't you just do it? No, he said. I need to see you. It's who you are. I held my breath. He looked and looked. He began to get breathy. And his face changed. He did not look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. More so beautiful, he said. You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild. You saw that there? It was like he read my palm. I saw that, he said, and more. Much, much more. He stayed looking for almost an hour. As if we were observing a map, looking at the moon, staring into my eyes, but it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me, and he looked so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. Bob wasn't grossed out. I began to swell and feel proud and began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself there. And I was there with him in my vagina. And we were gone.
Yeah!
This is a not-so-happy fact found in UNICEF's 2013 report, Female Genital Mutilation and Cutting, a statistical overview and exploration of the dynamics of change. Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 200 million girls and young women. In the 30 countries where it is practiced, mostly in Africa, about 30 million young girls within the next decade are at risk of the knife or the razor or a glass shard to cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. In half of the countries, the majority of girls were cut before age 5. In the rest of the countries, most cutting occurs between 5 and 14 years of age. As many as 30 million girls are at risk of being cut over the next decade if current trends persist. In a man, it would range from amputation of most of the penis to removal of all the penis. Short-term results include tetanus, hemorrhages, cuts in the urethra, bladder and vaginal walls, long-term chronic uterine infection, increased agony, and danger during childbirth, and early deaths. However, overall it is on the decline, with the percentage of girls ages 15 to 19 who have been cut declining from 51% in 1985 to 37% today.
Hello. Hi.
How y'all doing?
My vagina is angry. It is. It's pissed off. My vagina is furious and it needs to talk. About what? It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people out there thinking of ways to torture my poor ass, gentle, loving vagina. Spending their days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy. Vagina motherfuckers.
All of this shit, they are constantly trying to
shove up us, stuff us up, clean us up, make it go away. Well, my vagina's not going away. It's pissed off, and it's staying right here. Like tampons. What the hell is that? A dry wad of fucking cotton shoved up there. As soon as my vagina sees it, it closes up. It shuts down. It says, forget it. You have to work with my vagina. Introduce it to things. Prepare the way. That's what foreplay is all about. You have to seduce my vagina. Engage my vagina's trust. And you can't do that with a dry wad of fucking cotton.
Stop shoving things up me. Stop trying to clean it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up. It smells good already. Don't try to decorate. Don't believe him when he tells you it smells like rose petals when it's supposed to smell like pussy. That's what they're trying to do. Trying to clean it up and make it smell like a bathroom spray or a garden. All those douche sprays like floral, berry, rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain. I'll clean it up like washing a fish after you cooked it. I want to taste the fish, that's why I ordered it.
Then there's those exams. Who thought them up? There's got to be a better way to do those exams. Why the scary paper dress that scratches your tits and crunches when you lie down so you feel like a wad of paper someone threw away? Why the rubber gloves? Why the flashlight all up in there like Nancy Drew working against gravity? Why the Nazi steel stirrups? The mean cold duck lips they shove inside you? What's that? My vagina's angry about those visits. It gets defended weeks in advance. It won't go out of the house.
And then you get there. Don't you hate that?
Scoot down. Relax your vagina.
Why? So you can shove mean cold duck lips inside it? I don't think so. Why don't they wrap me up in some nice, delicious purple velvet and lay me down on a feathery cotton spread, put on some nice pink or blue gloves, and rest my feet in some fur-covered stirrups. Warm up the duck lips. Work with my vagina.
But no, more torturous. A dry wad of fucking cotton, cold duck lips, and thong underwear. That's the worst. Thong underwear. Who thought that up? Moves around all the time, gets stuck up the back of your crusty butt.
Vaginas are supposed to be loose and wide, not held together. That's why girdles are so bad. We need to move and spread and talk and talk. Vaginas need comfort. Make something like that. Something to give them pleasure.
Pleasure? I know she lying.
No, of course they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. I mean, make a nice pair of soft cotton underwear with a French tickler built in. Women would be coming all day long, coming in the supermarket, coming on the subway, coming happy vaginas. They wouldn't be able to stand it, seeing all those energized, not taking shit, hot, happy vaginas.
If my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself like me. It would talk about other vaginas. And it would do vagina impressions. It would wear Harry Winston diamonds. No clothing. Just they're all draped in diamonds.
My vagina helped release a giant baby. I thought I was going to be doing more of that. It's not. Now it wants to travel. Doesn't want a lot of company. Wants to read and know things. Get out more.
It wants sex. It loves sex. It wants to go deeper. It's hungry for depth. It wants kindness. It wants change. It wants silence and freedom and gentle kisses and warm liquids and deep touch. It wants chocolate. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. My vagina, well, it wants everything.
This piece is for the women of Bosnia.
My vagina was green. Water soft, pink fields, cows mooing, sun resting, sweet boyfriend touching lightly with soft piece of blonde straw. There is something between my legs. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it is. I do not touch. Not now. Not anymore. Not since. My vagina was chatty. So much words, so much talking. Can't quit trying, can't quit saying, oh yes, oh yes. Not since I dreamed there's a dead animal sewn in down there with thick black fishing line. And the dead animal smell cannot be removed. And his throat is slit and it bleeds through all of my summer dresses. My vagina, singing all girl songs, all goat bell ringing songs, all wild autumn field songs, vagina home songs. Not since the soldiers put a long, thick rifle inside of me. The steel rod so cold, canceling my heart. Don't know whether they're gonna fire it or shove it through my spinning brain. 6 of them. Monstrous doctors with black masks shoving bottles up me too. There were sticks and the end of a broom. My vagina, clean river water, smooth spilling water over sun-baked stones, clit stones over and over. Not since I heard the skin tearing make lemon screeching sounds. Not since a piece of my vagina came off in my hand. A part of the lip. Now one side of the lip is completely gone. My vagina, a live, wet water village. My vagina, my hometown. Not since the soldiers took turns for 7 days, smelling like feces and smoked meat, they left their dirty sperm inside of me. I became a river of poison and pus, and all the crops died, and the fish. My vagina, a live, wet water village. They invaded it, butchered it, and burned it down. I do not touch now. Do not visit. I live someplace else now. I don't know where that is.
A provocation. An indication that I want it or give it or that I could. My short skirt is not begging for it. It does not want you to rip it off me or pull it down. Hell no. My short skirt is not a legal reason for raping me. Although it has been before, it will not hold up in the nude court. My short skirt and everything under it has nothing to do with you. My short skirt is about discovering the power of my lower calves, about cool autumn air traveling up my inner thighs, about allowing everything I see or pass and feel to live inside. My short skirt is not proof that I am stupid or undecided or a malleable little girl. My short skirt is my defiance. I will not let you make me afraid. My short skirt is not showing off. This is who I am before you make me cover it or tone it down. Get used to it. My short skirt is happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I am here. I am high. It's a liberation flag in the woman's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country. My short skirt is turquoise water with swimming colored fish, a bird calling in the starry dark, a train arriving. My short skirt is a wild spin, full breath, take
short skirt is initiation, appreciation, excitation, but mainly my short skirt and everything under it is mine, mine, mine.
Memory, 1965, 5 years old. My mama tells me in a scary, loud, life-threatening voice to stop scratching my coochie snorcher. I've become terrified and I've scratched it off down there, and I do not touch myself again, even in the bath. I'm afraid of water getting in and filling me up so I explode. I put Band-Aids over my coochie snorcher to cover the hole, but they fall off in the water. I imagine a stopper, a bathtub plug clipper to prevent things from entering me. I sit with 3 pairs of happy heart patterned cotton underpants underneath my Snapple pajamas, and I still want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Memory, 7 years old. Edgar Montaigne, who is 10, gets angry at me and punches me with all his might between my legs. It feels like he breaks my entire self. I went home and I can't pee, and my mama asks me what's wrong with you. And when I tell her what Edgar did to me, she gets angry at me and tells me to never let anyone ever touch me down there again. And I try to explain to her that he didn't touch it, Mama. Punched it. Memory, 9 years old. I play on the bed, bouncing and falling and impale my coochie snorcher on the bedpost. I make high-pitched screaming noises that come straight from my coochie snorcher's mouth, and I get taken to the hospital and they sew it up down there from where it's been torn apart. Memory, 10 years old. I'm at my father's house and he's having a party upstairs, and everyone's drinking and I'm playing alone in the basement, and I'm trying on this new cotton white bra and underwear my father's girlfriend gave to me. When suddenly my father's best friend, this big man, Alfred, comes up from behind and pulls down my new cotton white underwear and sticks his big hard penis into my coochie snorcher. And I scream, I kick, I try to fight him off, and then my dad's there, and he has a gun, and then there's this loud, horrible noise, and then there's blood all over Alfred and me. Lots of blood. Alfred is paralyzed for life, and my mama doesn't let me see my father for 7 years. Memory, 13 years old. You know, my coochie snorcher, it's a very bad place. It's a place of pain, nastiness, punching, and invasion, and blood. It's a site for mishaps, a bad luck zone. And I imagine a freeway between my legs, and I'm traveling far away from here. Memory, 16 years old. There's this gorgeous 24-year-old woman in my neighborhood, and I stare at her all the time. One day, she invites me into her car, and she asks me if I like to kiss boys, and I tell her I do not like that. And she says she wants to show me something. And she leans over and kisses me so softly on the lips with her lips. And then she puts her tongue into my mouth. She asks me if I want to come over to her house. And then she kisses me again and tells me to relax, to feel it, to let our tongues feel it. She asked my mama if I could spend a night, and my mother's delighted that such a successful, beautiful secretary has taken an interest in me. I'm scared. I can't wait. And I mean, her apartment's fantastic. It's the 70s. The bees, the fluffy pillows, the moonlight. I decide right there that I want to be a successful secretary like her when I grow up. She makes herself a vodka, and she asks me what I want to drink. I say the same as you're having. And she says she doesn't think my mama will like me drinking vodka. And I say she probably wouldn't like me kissing girls either, and a pretty lady makes me a drink. Afterwards, she changes into this chocolate satin teddy. She's so beautiful. I say, you look great. And she says, so do you. And I say, but I only have this cotton-like bra and underpants. And then she dresses me slowly into another satin teddy. It's lavender and soft like the first days of spring. The alcohol has gone to my head, and I'm just full ready. There's a picture above her bed of a naked black woman with a huge afro. She gently and slowly lays me down in bed, and just our bodies rubbing together makes me come. She says, your vagina, untouched by man, smells so nice, so fresh. Wish I keep it that way forever. I get crazy wild, and then the phone rings. And of course it's my mama. She knows she catches me at everything, and I'm breathing heavy, and I'm trying to act normal when I pick up the phone, and she asks me, what's wrong with you? Have you been running? And I say, no, mama, exercising. And then she tells the gorgeous secretary to make sure I'm not around any boys. And the lady tells her, trust me, there's no boys around here. Afterwards, she teaches me everything I need to know about my coochie snorcher. She makes me play with myself in front of her and teaches me different ways to give myself pleasure. She tells me to always know how to give myself pleasure, so I'll never need to rely on a man. You know, in the morning, I'm afraid I become a butch. Because I'm so in love with her. And you know, she laughs, but I don't ever see her again. I later realized that she was my surprising, unexpected, and politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie snorch into some kind of heaven.
vaginas. I love women. Me too! I do not see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I did not start out like this, no. To the contrary, I was a lawyer. But in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It started as a mission of sorts, but then I got involved in it. I got very good at it. Kind of brilliant. It was my art. I got paid for it. It was as if I had found my calling. You see, I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women. Lace, silk, leather. And I used props. Whips. Let's see. Handcuffs. What about ropes?
Yes.
Dildos. There was nothing like this in tax law. No props, no excitement, and I hated those blue corporate suits. Although I wear them from time to time at my new line of work, and they serve me quite nicely. There were no props in corporate law, no wetness, no dark, mysterious foreplay, no erect nipples, no delicious mouths. But mainly, there was no moaning. Not the kind I'm talking about anyways. You see, this is the key I see now. Moans were the things that ultimately seduced me and got me addicted to making women happy. When I was a little girl, I would see women in the movies making love, making these strange orgasmic noises. I used to laugh. I couldn't believe that strange, ungoverned noise came out of women. I longed to moan. I practiced in front of a mirror, on a tape recorder in various keys and various tones, but every time when I played it back, it sounded fake. It was fake. I mean, it wasn't deeply rooted in anything sexual, really, only my desire to be sexual. But then when I was 10 once, I had to pee really bad once on a car trip. It went on for almost an hour, and when I finally got to pee in that dirty little gas station, I moaned. I moaned as I peed. I couldn't believe it. Me moaning at a Texaco station in the middle of Louisiana. I realized then that moans aren't connecting with getting what you want right away, but with putting them off. I realized that moans are best when they catch you by surprise. They come from this hidden, mysterious part of you that's speaking its own language. And I realized that moans, in fact, are that language. I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Frankly, it terrified them. They couldn't focus on what they were doing. They lose focus, and then, they lose everything. Gonna make love in people's homes. The walls were too thin. I got a reputation in my building, and people would stare at me with contempt when I got on the elevator. Men called me insane. I mean, insane? See, I began to feel bad about my moaning. I got quiet and polite. I made noise into a pillow. I learned to choke my moan, hold it back like a sneeze. Bless you. I began to get headaches and stress-related disorders. I was beginning to lose all hope when I discovered women. I discovered that most women loved my moaning. But most importantly, I discovered how deeply excited I got when other women moaned. When I was responsible for other women moaning. I made love to quiet women and found this place inside them, and they shocked themselves in their moans. I made love to moaners and found a deeper, more penetrating moan. Yeah, it was a kind of surgery, a kind of delicate science. Finding the tempo, the exact location, or home of the moan. That's what I called it. Sometimes I found it over a woman's jeans. Sometimes I snuck up on it, off the record, quietly disarming the surrounding alarms and moving in. Sometimes I used force, but
not a violent pressing force, more like a dominating, I'm going to take you someplace laid back and enjoy the ride kind of force. Sometimes it was simply mundane. Sometimes I found the moment before things even got started, while we were eating chicken or salad. Just real casual, with my fingers, here it is, like that, in the kitchen, all mixed in with the balsam and vinegar. Sometimes I used props. I loved props. Sometimes I made a woman find her own moan in front of me. I waited, stuck it out, until she opened herself. You see, I was not fooled by the minor, more obvious moan. I pushed her further, all the way into her power moan. There's the clit moan, the vagina moan, the combo clit vagina moan, the almost moan, right on it moan, the elegant moan, the grace slick moan, the wasp moan, the Jewish moan. The African American moan. Oh, shit! The Irish Catholic moan.
Oh, forgive me, help me.
The mountaintop moan. The doggy moan. The baby moan. The uninhibited, militant, bisexual moan. The machine gun moan. The tortured zen moan. The diva moan. The college moan.
I should be studying
And finally, the surprise, triple orgasm moan.
Oh, shit!
Come on, Charlie!
I was there when her vagina opened. We were all there. Her mother, her husband, and I, and a nurse from Ukraine with a whole hand up there in her vagina, feeling and turning around with her rubber gloves as she talked casually to him, like she was turning on a loaded faucet. I was there when the contractions made her crawl on all fours, made unfamiliar moans leak out of her pores, and still there after hours as she just screamed suddenly wild, her arms striking at the electric air. I was there when her vagina changed from a shy sexual hole to an archaeological tunnel, a sacred vessel, a Venetian canal, a deep well with a tiny stuffed child inside, waiting to be rescued. I saw the colors of her vagina. They changed. Saw the bruised, broken blue, the blistering tomato red, the gray, pink, the dark. Saw the blood like perspiration along the edges. Saw the yellow, the white liquid, the shit, the clots, pushing through all holes, pushing harder and harder. Saw through the hole the baby's head, scratches of black hair, just there behind the bone, a hard, round memory, as the nurse from Ukraine kept turning and turning
her slippery hand.
I was there when each of us, her mother and I, held a leg and spread her wide, pushing with all our strength against her pushing, as her husband sternly counted 1, 2, 3, telling her to focus harder.
We looked into her then. We couldn't get our eyes out of that place. We forget the vagina, all of us. What else would explain our lack of awe, our lack of reverence? I was there when the doctor reached in with Alice and the Wonderland spoons. And there, as her vagina became a wide, operatic mouth, singing with all its strength. First the little head, then the gray flopping arm, then the fast swimming body, swimming quickly into our weeping arms.
I was there later when I just turned and faced her vagina. I stood and I looked at her completely exposed, mutilated, swollen and torn, bleeding into the doctor's hands who was calmly sewing her there. I stood and her vagina suddenly became a wide red pulsing heart. The heart is capable of sacrifice. So is the vagina. The heart is able to forgive and repair. It can change to let us in and expand to let us out. So can the vagina. It can ache for us, stretch for us, die for us, and bleed us into this difficult, wondrous world. I was there in the room.
I remember